Okay, let's talk about Descartes' rule of signs. Part of when we're trying to find the zeros or the roots of a function, determining that it's easier to be able to rule things out. And so Descartes developed a pattern that we can use knowing how many positives or negatives we have. So if I look at the set here, if I want to find the positive possible roots, or zeros, depends on again how we want to refer to that, I'm going to look at my signs. And so I've got a positive x to the fifth, a negative, positive, positive, negative. And then I'm going to talk about the changes between those signs. So it changed once here, and it changed another time here. It stayed positive, but then it changed here. So because there were 3 changes, and we always have things most likely in pairs, I can say as far as my positive roots, I can have 3 or 1 positive zeros. Okay, now in order to find the same thing with the negatives, I'm going to have to rewrite this guy, including the possibility of there being negatives or negative x in there. So I'm going to just substitute that into each of those. So I have third plus 2 negative x squared plus 5 negative x minus 7. So this is going to change a little bit, and you can anticipate it changing on the odds. Because if I have 5 negatives, 2 sets will pair up, but I'll be left with a negative. So that makes this guy a negative x to the fifth. Same thing here, I have 3, so it's going to make that negative, but I had a negative on the outside, so he now changes to become a positive. Now if I have an even amount, that cancels that negative out, but then this one's going to pop on. All right, let's check out our changes again. We have a negative, positive, positive, negative, negative. So it looks like I only have 2 actual changes, from a negative to positive and then positive to negative. So I would say 2 or 0 negative 0 possibilities that way. So if I happen to have a set of numbers, and this one's not too crazy because it's only working with the factors of 7, but if I happen to have a set that say plus or minus 1, plus or minus 2, 4, 8, and then I had a half, and I had 3 halves. I don't know. So let's just say this is our huge set that we have to pick from. As I go through and factor it, if I come up with a negative, I can assume that there's 2 more possible negatives, or just the 1. Or if I come up with a positive, I'm going to assume there's going to be 2 sets of those. But the idea behind Descartes is the change in the signs, and it's always going to be separated by 2. We can see that with both of these here, because things most likely come in pairs.